All right, my friends, today is March the 3rd. It is Monday, a couple hours into the New York session. Let's do the market outlook and plans for the week ahead. Okay, so before we get into the outlook, a couple of things I wanted to address. First is going to be this crazy weekend move that we just had. News-driven, super liquid move. Going to discuss that in detail later on. Then the other thing that we wanted to mention is that tomorrow, Tuesday, Trump is set to speak. I believe it's mostly going to be covering tariffs. Anytime that he is set to speak, though, that's going to be pretty important for us, as you guys have just seen over this past Sunday that we just had. And this has been something I've been talking about for a few weeks now. Time flies. It's been longer than a few weeks now. We're already in March. The Trump meta is a very real thing. How markets move is going to be completely different now than it was the previous 4 years. And, whether your technicals say this or the flows say that, a lot of it's not going to matter, where we're going to have a, random spurt of new information coming in from a Twitter post or whatever, and that changes everything and moves markets. So, yo guys, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Appreciate it. Adapting to the Trump meta is something that everybody needs to start to work on. If you're not already conscious of this and working on it, you're going to get left behind. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with the macro. The macro talk is pretty straightforward. I am risk off positioning wise, but I still absolutely think that this trend is going to go higher. Let me zoom out just a tiny bit on this chart. This trend still looks really healthy to me. Yes, there's been moments where we're getting extended from value, but we get a little bit of a reset stage is clearly what we're in right now, and I do think that we're set to trade higher later in this year. Realistically, it's panning out looking like late Q3 into Q4 is when we could potentially have momentum return. For right now, expecting any momentum in the market is definitely not going to pan out very well for anybody. So the TLDR for where I'm at with the macro, before we get into some of the key points, is just, we probably are going to chop this up. Originally, I thought we would build out a range, something like this. And then this, news-driven event came through really quickly. So paying attention this weekly to how we respond is going to be super important. But ultimately, either way, I think we're going to go right back into a bracketing environment. It would be pretty wild if we played out this similarly to, the last summertime where we did something like this and then kind of started to trade back up again. This is, a doodle that I did share a few weeks back of us trading down. I didn't think that we would trade all the way down to 77. I thought we would probably bottom out around 84, 85 was what I said. Trading past that 85K level, just a little bit deviating it and reclaiming it. It didn't work out that way. Traded lower. This is kind of where I'm at, right? There are no arguments for actually taking the risk on us trading up just yet, but I still think that my plans are still perfectly intact. Few key points to make. We've clearly washed everybody out. Any leverage that was built up in the system, there's basically no shot that it really remains. So, depending on how you want to look at things, that's obviously a positive thing for potential trend continuation later on. As I've been saying for a while now, having that defensive bull mindset definitely is paying off because, if you were able to flip defensively when we called for it, you have been able to avoid a lot of this pain, and people are bleeding out, losing all their poker chips, and it's gonna suck when we do see Bitcoin trading at higher prices later this year, and people have just given up. That's pretty much it. I mean, from a macro level standpoint, I did want to kind of point out some of the key levels, and we're gonna keep it really simple. You guys know I could say, oh, it's 81.2 and yada yada, and list out a very specific number, but we'll keep it really simple. 80K, 90K, 100K. That's give or take, obviously, because realistically the 100K level is more like 102, but just keep it really simple. Bulls need to fight to defend and kind of reclaim 90K right now. If bulls are able to do that, then maybe we see a mark up towards 100K. If bulls are unable to defend this range low, reclaim that it's fighting for right now, then we're obviously going to trade back to where we just were, call it 80K. So those are your macro levels that you want to operate off of. Keep shit really simple. You don't need to fucking care about, to the exact decimal. Doesn't really matter. Especially when we live in a world now where one tweet changes everything. Medium time frame is definitely the most important conversation right now. So, I wanted to look at it from this chart standpoint. So what happened was, the Trump administration came out and said that they're working towards a strategic reserve, right? So when, the strategic reserve narrative was over, and then we bled out because, all the hopium around that, that balloon got inflated. And we, in the blink of an eye, brought it back Sunday. Why they chose to do it on a Sunday, on the most illiquid time, is beyond me. I'm a little bit skeptical of this, and the primary logic is that the news that they came out with isn't saying that they're going to do it, right? It's saying that they're going to talk about it or whatever, right? Talking is one thing, right? Doing is a totally different story. This happened on a Sunday when sentiment we know has been pretty fucking terrible recently, right? So we know that the market was, had a lot of shorts to squeeze out. So when you have an illiquid day where shorts get squeezed out, I think that's really the reason why we traded up so much, right? Is that a lot of people probably got blown out on that. When books in crypto are notoriously thin. We all know this. None of us expect that. Basically, once you get away from the spread, if toxic flow pushes price through the spread and starts to get away from that point, no market makers are going to hold the line. This is one of the classic lessons that I've taught for years now around how market makers work in crypto, right? That they're not going to stick their neck out on the line and defend price in either direction, right? They're just going to let the people that are being idiots just trample over one another. Stample, I don't even know what that is. All right. So a little bit of median time frame gap coming back over to this chart. I would love my skepticism to be proven wrong and have us, trade bullishly this week, and then we can go right back on to sunshine and rainbow season. But I'm still kind of leaning towards survival mode right now, guys. That is pretty much it. That's pretty much it for for medium time frame. So alts, for the most part, look pretty terrible. There's a few here and there that have good higher time frame structure, but it's pretty clear that we don't care about alts right now. You're just looking for the risk on, risk off signal from Bitcoin. So all you need to do right now, I think, is you can scan alts to get an idea of what's looking better than other things, right? But I wouldn't really be trying to trade them too much right now. I'd be closely watching Bitcoin, seeing if Bitcoin's going to show some actual signs of life after that move. Because if it does, then buying some of these decently looking altcoins, it's going to be a huge play, right? Okay, that's pretty much it for alt TLDR. I just wouldn't really fuck with it too much, right? If you're trying to scalp or whatever, by all means, like go scalp an altcoin. But any high time frame alt stuff right now, I would chill on and just watch Bitcoin. Okay, that's it for that. TLDR across the board, right, guys? Is I'm not super excited about any sort of higher time frame stuff right now. I'm definitely want to be focused on watching. When I want to trade to get that, itch suffice, to scratch the itch, I'm just going to be focused on intraday mostly. And just going with whatever the kind of intraday momentum is. Like right now, intraday momentum is probably mostly to the downside. If you watch Bitcoin, it's fighting for a local bottom right now. So maybe there's a little bit of a, reversion intraday long setup, on the board, on the, cards. I'm not really locked in for it. I didn't have any pre-planning done before I did this video, but that's what I would be looking at. Take your quick trades that last a couple hours and just let everybody else try to be a hero and bet on this breakdown short and the breakup long. Let other people do that shit. We'll just chill, do our thing. Eventually these wannabe gladiators will all be dead, and there will be a larger opportunity for us to capitalize on then. So that's it for me. Good luck out there. Cheers, everybody.